Dragging myself out of bed in the morning to make a cup of tea. Washing the dishes that I left last night while listening to the news on the BBC. Checking the date on this loaf of bread. Scraping out the last of the margarine. Letting the dog out into the garden. Trying to keep the bathroom clean. Wondering if I need to respond to this email. Trying to eat enough fruit and veg. Hunting for a matching pair of socks, scrolling aimlessly on the internet, standing in the queue at the supermarket and carrying the groceries home, listening to terrible hold music while trying to speak to the bank on the phone. Ooh, 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 all the boring shit I do that other people never get to see. The mundane crap for everyday needs that won't make it onto social media feeds that surely everybody else has to do too. The boring shit I do. What ho folks, Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire here with song number 33 of my Song a Week project. This week I decided to do a song that was inspired by various conversations I've had with people over the last few years. And comments that I see on the internet of people saying, ooh, you look like you're having fun. You're always doing exciting things in exciting places. And I think, yeah, sometimes. But I think social media, and definitely our curation of social media accounts, kind of leads people to believe that our lives are far more exciting than they actually are. I'm guilty of it myself. I look at other people and get very jealous about what it is they're doing. But I only put the exciting stuff up, the interesting things, and that then makes it look as if life is incredibly exciting. So I thought I would respond to that by talking about all the boring, mundane, everyday stuff that I have to do, that everybody else has to as well, because I think it's important that we all remember that all of us have to do the boring stuff as well. The exciting stuff isn't as exciting as it looks either. So yeah, that's what inspired this really. I played this on my Flight Soprano Ukulele, details of which can be found in the description below. If you're interested in getting hold of your own one, you can find out how to there. So last week I didn't post a song. I had intended to do this one, but in light of the results of the US election, it felt a little bit glib. And to be honest, I was not feeling in a great place after that. It harked back for me to 2016 and just after the EU referendum that we had on this, where we kind of wanted to Brexit as a country. I voted to remain. I thought it was important to maintain those kind of ties to the places closest to us, really. And I was just left with this feeling of that I perhaps was a little bit stupid and didn't really understand the people around me. Or the people that I share the country with, which I think is a similar thing with America and with the USA. Perhaps underestimated just how annoyed people were with the status quo. But the overriding feeling that I have is, really? That guy? He's your man? Which was the same thing I thought with Brexit. That we went along with the Johnsons and the Farages, in the same way the US has gone along with the Trumps and the Vances, and I kind of left a little bit surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot closer, and I thought it would be going on for a lot longer. The discussions on who won, but also after everything that I've seen and heard over the last 8 years. That wasn't a deal breaker. I think that's the overriding thing that confuses me with it. I will probably say more on this and probably write a song about it in the next few weeks, but I'm still feeling a little bit kind of shocked and surprised, really. And for all of my friends over in the US, all my friends in the LGBTQ and minority communities, and women across the US, I feel for you. But I'm going to leave it there anyway. Political rant over. As always, some lovely reactions to previous video. If you remember back to 2 weeks ago, that was the song about it getting dark at 5 p.m. The clocks went back, and suddenly it was dark, and we're suddenly on kind of winter time now. So some really nice comments on here. Now, unfortunately, some of the handles on YouTube are a little bit difficult to work out how you pronounce them. So Ancela Akfirgak. The entire song is a mood. I want the sunlight back. I completely agree. I would rather it was getting darker later in the evenings. Mark the Minstrel says, music nerd compliment. I really like the chord progression you use for this song. It feels optimistic but full of sorrow with a hint of nostalgia with the jazzy chords. Really sets the mood for this song, like how Twilight prepares you for the evening. Yeah, I was really quite pleased with the chord progression I came up with for this. It's quite different for me. And I started playing in front of Adam, my guitar player for the Fancy Chaps. It was, I really like that chord progression. Yeah, so I think actually, yeah, it's different for me. But yes, I'm very glad that somebody's acknowledged that. Heather the Hillian 627 says, when it gets dark, I get scared. When I fancy a walk to my favourite chippy, but it's dark out, makes me not want to go. But I brave it when I feel the craving. Yeah, sometimes you just got to push through with that a little bit. I realise it's far easier for the chaps to do that. Than kind of women going out by themselves in the dark. Broadwell Electric says, I've always rather liked the evening, honestly. It's quite atmospheric and not very many people about. Also, I get to pretend that I'm a vampire and flee from the sun. Yeah, absolutely. You walk around in a big long coat and pretend that you are a creature of the night. David G 5898 says, great little ditty as always, but here's a little buzzkill. Well, actually, interjection. Oh, we go. The pedants are out. We're now in correct time. It's the spring, summer, early fall clocks that are daylight savings and 1 hour are off from solar time. Fair enough. I still don't like it. I still don't like it when it's getting darker earlier. Auntie Rana says, what a lovely pensive melody. Literally everyone hates changing the clocks. I don't know why it persists. I didn't realise you participated in Great Britain. Yeah, we do. I thought you Brits were more sensible. No, we're not. We're not. No, the Brits are just as idiotic as anybody else in the world. Paige Wittenberg 1576 says, great song. Me. Okay, time change. Doggy. Why is my routine changing? What's happening? Why is it dark? Walkies now. Yeah, it's a little bit like what we have in this house as well with Luca. We now have to take him out earlier because he doesn't like going out in the dark. And because we live in a town, we need to go to the park before it gets too dark. I don't think he particularly likes the traffic coming towards him, kind of walking down the streets with kind of bright lights shining. So, yeah. Sergeant Bouchery says, in Quebec, there is talks about stopping this nonsense of changing the clock. Okay. I would be on board with that. Also says, when I had my dog, she had 20-minute walks in the morning, and when I came back from work, and the big 2-hour walk was just before going to bed. She loved when we changed the time of the clocks because it meant that cold and snow were coming. Yeah. So that's how we tend to do it. We tend to take Lou out for a kind of a 20 to 40-minute walk in the morning, and then an hour and a half walk in the evening as well, around the park. But he doesn't like it so much in the dark, you see. But he does love it when it's cold. He comes alive, running for balls and things like that. Far less inclined to do that in the summer. So, yeah, I can see that. FMan02 says, drilling a shower curtain into a wall. I'm sure there's a chap on YouTube who plays the ukulele and sang about getting on someone in to do that job. Let me think, who was that? Yeah, absolutely. That's a reference back to a comment I made last week, or the last video, about how I had to do some DIY and hung a shower curtain up, drilled a shower curtain into the wall. I do have a song about getting someone in to fix it, but times are hard. It's cheaper to do it myself, although it will probably fall down very quickly. I'm just going to say that. As always, keep your comments coming, keep your questions coming as well. It makes these videos a lot more interesting. So yeah, make sure you're commenting and asking questions below. I have some very exciting news about the new album. It is finished. I have finished the new album completely now. It's just being mixed and mastered currently. And I've got a release date, which I'll announce now. It's going to be the 13th of December. So just in time for Christmas. Next week, the cover art is getting finished off. And I will hopefully by the end of next week be able to order some CDs in as well. I'm hoping they're going to be finished in time for Christmas, but I'm not entirely sure whether I'll have those in time for Christmas delivery. But the digital version will definitely be out on the 13th of December, so I'm rather excited about that. If you're interested in hearing the full thing before anybody else, then you can join my Patreon community for as little as £3 a month, where I have been sharing demo versions of all the songs. But in the next week or so, I will be sharing the album in its entirety. And we will also be doing a listen party the week before it goes on general release. So do follow the link in the description to find out how you can come and join me on Patreon. Little reminder about the shows that I've got coming up over the next few weeks. On Sunday the 24th of November, I'll be at the Railway Inn in Winchester with my band, the Fancy Chaps, and the fantastic Sweet Chunks band. And that's going to be a really good fun show. So if you're around in that area, it would be lovely to see you. On Saturday the 7th of December, I'm going to be at the Brunswick in Hove, Brighton or Hove. It's Hove really, but I've been saying Brighton. At the Brunswick, again with the Fancy Chaps and the Sweet Chunks band as well. And then on the 14th of December, so just after the album's launched, I'm going to be at the 100 Watt Club in Guildford at the Electric Theatre, doing a cabaret set there. And then finally on the 15th of December, I will be in Tunbridge Wells at the Green Duck event space. It would be lovely to see you out and about at any of those shows over the next couple of weeks. As I said before, keep the comments and questions coming. It makes these videos a lot more interesting. If you're interested in getting hold of a flight ukulele, you can find the link in the description below the video. Also details of how you can join me on Patreon and of all the shows that I've got coming up over the next couple of months can be found there as well. That's about it from me. It'd be lovely to see you out and about over the next few weeks. If not, stay safe. And until next time, toodle pip.